Alrighty then, an act of trust, an act of trust. I haven't spoken to Bina this morning yet. I'm just trusting that she's going to be here. Most wonderful. We shall see in a second or two. Come on, Bina. Come on, Bina. We have done without Bina, but I like doing with Bina. This is so much more fun. For anybody, really, not just Bina. Ah, come on. There we go. There we go. All right, we'll get everything shared. And talking about sharing, let's see if we can't get. Come on now. Get Sher to come and share. Sher to come and share. Talking about Sher. She has been now published in Real Magazine. She's a published author in Real Magazine. So very real and significant accomplishment and well deserved. Sher is a most excellent writer and writes about very, very real stuff. Profoundly and deeply real. And well worth reading. Sher has a tab in the guides section. Right. So if you click on the guides tab, you'll see different tabs there. Yeah. And then you click on that, and then you'll see all the different articles and entries. There's tons of them. There's a couple of books worth of value in there, which Sher is publishing a second book. Right? This is a great privilege that we have to have this available to us, right? Not just from Sher, but from Jessica also. Bina's got her articles. I've got a bunch in there, and others also. Yeah. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Be aware that it is there. A lot of people don't know about the guides tab because it's not on the phone. Yeah, a lot of people access Facebook only through the phone or primarily. This is one instance where it's worth coming on your laptop or your computer. It does make a difference. Yeah? You won't see those. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Just get this. Talking about sharing. Just sharing the link. Yeah. And I'm hoping those from the chats will come. You know, a lot of people there, they say, hi, 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 hi. But somehow they never come. I don't understand why. You join the chat and you keep saying hi, you know, and that's it. And then everybody else says hi, hi, hi. Everybody says hi all the time. What is the point of a hi? Is that not in order to, and you're in a chat that you had to deliberately join? Are you not in this chat because you want to chat? Well, come and chat now. You don't have to come on Zoom to chat. You can chat in comments. Yeah. It doesn't compute for me. There's obviously a desire and a need for connectivity, but it just goes far as high. Can't expect everybody else to make all the effort. If you want to chat, you've got to start. You've got to initiate a little bit. Ask questions, share, etc. Don't force others to be doing the work for you. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's just unrealistic, and it's kind of in a roundabout way, a bit rude in a way. It's like you want something, but you expect somebody else to do the effort to give you and so that you can get what you want. Oh, come on, you know. No, do a little bit of work, do a little bit of effort. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Just share a little bit, ask a couple questions. Does not take a lot. And come here. Now, of course, they're not here to hear this. I'm sort of talking to myself, I guess. But, and one person in all this time that said, oh, they want to come. When is it? And I keep posting the link and they don't come. And there's tons of people in that chat. I understand why you would join a chat and then not want to chat. Very odd, very odd, very odd. But that's a theme, self-contradictory behavior. If you are such a person who is engaged in self-contradictory behavior, ask yourself why. What's stopping you? You say hi, obviously revealing an intent, right? And I can scroll up in that chat and you can see what I'm talking about, right? You'll just see hi, 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 all different people there. Nothing more. That's it, just hi. Right? Now, if you're saying hi in a chat like that, yes, to what end? Aren't you looking? You joined the chat. We take the implications. Surely you want to connect. You want to chat, yes. And many people who don't say hi, who just lurk and read, and that's fine too. But if you're saying hi, that implies you want to connect, you want to chat. But that's it. It just ends there. Ask yourself why. What's stopping you from sharing? What's stopping you from asking a question? Are you ashamed of your motivations? Yeah, really? Then ask yourself, maybe I need to recheck my motivations. Maybe I need to recheck what I think I'm embarrassed or shamed about. My beliefs, in other words. Is there anything wrong with wanting to reach out and connect and make friends and talk and chat? No, there's nothing there. Doesn't make you less of a person. Doesn't. You could be all needy potentially, but you don't have to be. Just because you want something doesn't necessarily make you needy. Yeah. Check those beliefs. Most of our culture, pretty much all of it really, comes from knuckleheads and fools, BMNs, narcissists, bullies, dictators, etc. Right? Or, like if you are needy for, or if you want somebody's love and attention and affection, then that makes you weak. That kind of rubbish, right? So now that's a bad thing. In your ego world, that's a bad thing. In a regular, normal, sensible world where people like to interact and connect and share, this is a fantastic thing. It's not a negative, it's a positive. That's what makes awesome conversation, friendships, connectivity, etc. See, but if you come into it all ashamed and embarrassed, you're cueing a negative vibe. And of course, this pushes people away. Yeah. Check your beliefs, check your beliefs. Check them at the door, actually. You want to have a chat and real good, deep interaction, set aside all those beliefs. Most of the stuff we believe is the biggest load of nonsense and rubbish under the sun. Unbelievable what we've been taught to believe, all to justify somebody else's nonsense, not ours. Yeah, all those shoulds. Yeah, it's just for somebody who's trying to justify their position of hollow dominance and superiority. Oh, you should be shy. You should be awkward. Oh, don't challenge me, in other words, because I'm insecure and I can't handle a challenge. Pretty much every time there's a should, it's the biggest load of rubbish under the sun, or a supposed to, or a must. Quite fascinating, the things that we believe without even realizing that we believe them. It's supposed to be awkward. Says who? Just because you don't know, why do you have to be awkward? Look at little kids, yes, that they haven't learned all this stuff yet. What do they know? Absolutely nothing. Does this stop them from learning, from exploring, trying, asking questions? Think of like a 2-year-old. That's all they do is ask questions until they get taught not to, which is really sad. Yeah. But they have no, they're not ashamed. They're not embarrassed to ask questions. They don't apologize for not knowing. They don't feel shy and awkward because they don't know. Imagine if they were to take those attitudes that you have, that you think are right and okay, that you justify this awkwardness, shyness. Oh, I'm too shy, I'm awkward, I can't, blah, blah, blah. Put that into a 2-year-old, and what happens to that 2-year-old? They'll never get past being a 2-year-old. They'll just stay a baby. Useless, ignorant, unable to do anything baby. They would never learn a single thing because, oh, I don't know anything. I can't learn. I can't do anything. I'm not supposed. All these excuses for what? Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Right? So claim you're ignorant. Actually, I made a quote for that today earlier. Awareness is a tool not to be a fool. From Tools of the Aspirants. And there's another one. I want to put these in comments in a moment here. Right? But that's it. Awareness is a tool not to be a fool. If you don't want to be a fool, use the tool of awareness. Cultivate it as a tool. It's a profound, profound, profound tool. Unbelievable tool. Yeah. Unbelievable tool. What is today? Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. So this is part 4 already. Wow. Wow. Okay. Said part 3 there, but it's part 4. Okay. Oh, very cool. Very cool indeed. You know, we put so many limitations on ourselves. To what end? To what end? Does it benefit you or does it benefit somebody else? Think about that for a bit. All those limitations, who does it serve? If you making yourself into an ignorant fool that's shy and awkward, blah, 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 who does that benefit? It benefits that BMN, bullshit manipulator narcissist. Yeah. Who thinks I'm the king of the world and I can't have anybody challenge me. So you are going to suppress all of you. I'm going to make sure that you stay there. So I'm going to make it like you're supposed to be awkward and shy and not ask and blah, blah. That way you stay stupid and I'm better by comparison. Because that's the logic. It's just about being better by comparison, not about actually being good. No, better by comparison. So that's if everybody's worse than me, I'm better. I'm wonderful now. It's idiotic logic, but that's how it is. That's how it works. It's appalling. It's appalling. But don't fall for it, people. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Yeah? Don't fall for it. It's just amazing. It's amazing what we do out of conformity to benefit somebody else's insecurity. They just happen to take that step to say, hey, I'm going to be the one who's in charge. No, because they're so arrogant that they're willing to do this. You see, typical good people don't have that level of arrogance to say, you know, oh, I can, because I don't know anything, so how can I be in charge? But they don't care. You know, see, isn't that appalling? The very people who shouldn't be in power are the ones that seek it and grab it and of course then abuse it horribly and are totally not suited for the position. It's quite amazing. And then they make up all these idiotic rules to keep themselves in power. Because to them, power is everything. It's like, really, you know, anybody who's got half a brain and thinks a little bit, what on earth do you want to go and be in charge of everything for? It's a lot of blinking work. If you don't think power and being in charge is this great ego thing, then it's just work. But no, not to that mindset. All about status. Oh, it's so wonderful. Hollow beliefs, hollow beliefs, hollow beliefs. Now, check those beliefs, check those beliefs. They're hollow for the most part. They don't serve you, they don't give you value. I mean, the actuality, when you remove the idea of leadership being this great and wonderful thing? What is the actuality of it? People are hounding you, bothering you, putting pressure on you. They always want you to do this, to do that, follow their ideas, and God knows all. And then you have to actually do the work of thinking about things, implementing them, blah, 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 blah. It's a ton of work, which is why these BMNs, because they're not particularly ethical or don't have much integrity, make terrible leaders. So they couldn't be bothered about the actual issue. They just want the status. So they don't actually do anything. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Ah, topsy-turvy world. Topsy-turvy world. Yes. Got to pay attention, people. Got to pay attention. Yeah. To pay attention. Ah, okay. Very good. We don't pay attention, we get inadvertently abused and manipulated. And we do it to ourselves. I think that's what most don't realize. How we are victims of ourselves. Why? Because we choose to believe this stuff. We choose to apply it. We don't have to. Absolutely do not have to. Nothing that says you have to. It's your choice to believe all this nonsense. Yeah. Anouk from the paradigm, Anouk from the paradigm, Anouk from the paradigm. Yeah. What our culture is absolutely not something that is valuable for the most part. Yeah. The culture of hierarchy. Yeah. Now, if you're not one of the ones bullying at the top because you're a nice, good person, then what happens to you? You end up becoming somebody who says, well, I've just got to take it because that's the system. Yeah. No, you don't. You don't have to be part of the system. Don't have to. Don't have to at all. Don't have to at all. All right. I'm hoping Bina was going to come. I saw her come on. I suspect she's having connectivity issues or power issues. That happens sometimes. But that doesn't mean I won't stay optimistic. Doesn't mean I won't stay optimistic. But I don't want to continue reading without Bina. But I really want to pay attention to this point of our beliefs, the shoulds, what we believe is a supposed to and a should, and how we've said it to ourselves over and over again. I'm kind of focusing on this thing about being shy and awkward. Where did that come from? Is it an absolute fact? I guarantee you, if I start saying, hey, listen, here's $1 billion and, come on the show and chat and talk and whatever, that shyness is going to go away in a hurry. All those people who were so shy, well, they're going to come. Yeah, they may still be awkward, but so what? For $1 billion, are you willing to be awkward? Okay, maybe you say, well, money doesn't motivate me. Okay, I'll use that $1 million to end hunger in some country or other, right? Or whatever. Do some real good with it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. If you come on, I'm going to do this really good thing. All right. So now you're going to really change people's lives by being awkward. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do that? Yes, people say, of course I'm willing to, if I can do real good in the world by being awkward for a little bit, looking stupid for a little bit. I'll do it. I'll do it, people say. So that means that you can. You don't have to. It's right, that shyness and that. You don't have to be that way. It's a choice, in other words. You're just lacking the appropriate motivation to deal with it and overcome it. Yeah. What's sad is that most don't realize that all it takes is a little bit of practice. I've seen this over and over and over again, many, many times on Zoom. Yeah. Where? Oh, yes, Norma. Norma's here. Hello, Norma. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, Norma. Wow, 19 more comments. Dang, is this an old one? Oh. I thought it's today's live, but I'm looking at an older one. Sorry, Norma. I thought you were here. I was going to say, I was surprised because you said you had stuff going on. Well, I clicked on the old one. No wonder. The 19 comments in like a minute. That would have been brilliant. Well, I guess it's been 19 minutes already. 19 comments. All right. Let me put those. That's not what I wanted in there. Put those quotes from Tools of the Aspirants. Wow. The one is awareness is a tool, not to be a fool. And the other one is keep going despite not knowing. So these are mnemonically leveraged quotes. That sounds very fancy. And I love it. But it's very accurate though. That's exactly what they are. They are mnemonically leveraged quotes. And the mnemonic part, it refers to easily remembered, right? Things that assist in making things able to be remembered. Not necessarily memorable, which is a slightly different thing, but easy to remember. Memorable is, all right, I won't go into memorable, but still easy to remember. Mnemonic, right? So a mnemonic device is something that assists and aids in remembering, right? All sorts of tricks. Rhyming is one such, which is why we have rhyming. At least one of the reasons for it is in oral traditions, that when you tell a story and it's in a rhyming format, it's much easier to remember because the rhyme cues the brain by implication for the next rhyme, and it makes it easier to remember. Yes, Norma now. Brilliant. See, I was talking about Norma. Yes, she comes. Wonderful, Norma. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Right? Now, so both of them have a rhyme in them, right? Awareness is a tool, not to be a fool. But we don't think of, well, we do think of not being a fool. But what do we typically think of in order to not be a fool? We look for specific techniques and solutions and specific things that we can do. We don't think that, hey, all I need to do to stop being a fool is just to enhance and develop my awareness. Try it. Next time you're feeling stupid, stop looking for the solution and say, what's wrong with me? Which is even worse than looking for a specific solution. Because now you say, oh, what's wrong with me? I'm a fool. What did that help you? Right? It's just a confirmation. And now you're stuck where you were before. You're a fool that knows they're a fool. How does that help you? It doesn't. Now you just feel bad about yourself. What's wrong with me is it's just a stupid thing to do. Yeah, don't do it. Don't be a fool. Say, how can I be more aware? Try it right now in your life. Say, how can I be more aware in order to resolve whatever the issue is that needs resolution? Yeah. Wow. Wow. Suddenly the whole world starts opening up. How can I be more aware to resolve whatever needs resolving? How? Suddenly your perspective shifts. You zoom out. You start looking at the bigger picture. You start looking at what is needed from an awareness point of view. Oh, I got to learn this. I got to understand this. I got to pay attention from this perspective. Just the act of asking, what do I need to be more aware of, makes you more aware. Yeah. Yeah. How may I be more aware? Exactly. And just asking automatically answers the question because your awareness goes away from that pinprick awareness of the little tiny bubble awareness that you're in. You can hardly see anything because your awareness is so constrained and bottled in by all that darkness of unawareness that you hardly see anything. Yeah. So we can think of awareness as brain light. What a concept. What a concept. Yeah. And we want our brain light. We want to switch it on as a floodlight in there, not as a spotlight. Sometimes, yes. But even though you've got a floodlight lighting up your whole, let's say you got your regular light that lights up your room, right? most rooms are lit by some variation of a floodlight. I mean, if you had a spotlight, you'd have it, let's say, on your desk, and the rest of the room would be dark. Now that happens sometimes. People have that, but in general, the whole room is lit up. But let's say I'm doing something and I need a bit of extra light. Well, I turn on the local lamp, yeah. And when I turn on the local lamp, well, you can't see it very much, but I did turn one on, is because the video adjusts for it, right? When I turn on the local light here, I get extra light, and the rest of the room stays lit up still. So we can have a floodlight and a spotlight within the floodlight. When we only have a spotlight, we have darkness surrounding us, and we lose awareness of context. Yes? See? So when it comes to awareness, we want to have the floodlight of overview awareness, lights up everything. Then we want to have the spotlight of attention, which enhances what we are paying attention to, without losing awareness of our surroundings or of context. Yes? In this, I use the analogy of scuba diving. Most important rule of scuba diving is never, never, ever lose connection to where the surface is. Always know where the surface is, no matter what you're doing. Yeah? Because you can easily get turned upside down. There's no gravity. Yeah. So you can think down is up or sideways or whatever. And this happens in scuba diving. People get lost. But if you know where the surface is, you know how to get out, right? You know how to get out of the bubble that you can get caught up in. You know, sand at the bottom of the ocean, sand can get disrupted around you, and murky water, ink cloud, all sorts of things could happen. Yes. Here comes Sher. So it's important to know where the surface is. That's why we want to have overview awareness, floodlight awareness, and then the spotlight awareness to be able to do the thing. But the two must coexist. The two must coexist. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Yes. Magic Sher, magic. Hello, hello, wonderful Sher. It's so joyous to see you again. Joyous, joyous, joyous. Too wonderful, Sher. Too wonderful. Sher, please, 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 if we can. This has been sitting with me for a while now. Your article.
Okay.
Read some of it for us, please. If you can. If you can find it right away. I'm so keen to hear some of it. I'm so keen to celebrate your publishing in Real magazine. You know, it's so appropriate because what you do is capital R real.
Yeah, yeah.
No holds barred, no bullshit, no mollycoddling, no ameliorating. No, this is the awful truth coming at you. Now, Sher isn't raw necessarily. You don't have to be ugly in sharing the awful truth, but you
No,
do
you
need to
don't.
be honest. And you are honest and you are real. Even though, some people can be brutal and raw and ugly in sharing that awful truth. They kind of revel in it. And no, you don't need to do that. You don't say, look how raw I am.
Yes.
That's not needed. It's not needed to do the awful truth. But honesty is, and you combine honesty with a sobriety which is real. It's the ideal. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. I have to read it from my phone off the site because
Oh, no problem. No problem. We're listening.
I'm
We're
sharing
listening.
between laptop and phone right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No problem.
get all this turned down. Otherwise, we're going to get bells and whistles, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Okay. So this article was published in Real magazine, and they published it in the online version. But it's still quite an honor to me.
Oh, yeah. And
So I'm
most
going to go ahead and,
magazines nowadays don't have a physical version anymore.
you're right.
Yeah.
They don't. They really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so the picture on this is captioned. It's a sailboat. I'm going to try and describe it. It's a sailboat with a semi kind of a faded skyline, and then there's a little
Wow.
bit of waves. but it's just a single sailboat by itself on the
Oh,
water.
oh, oh.
And what I wrote about that was, when you contemplate your existence and purpose, change initiates an enduring odyssey.
Say that again, please.
Okay. When you contemplate your existence and purpose, change initiates an enduring odyssey. So
Change
change,
initiates an enduring odyssey.
yes,
Wow, what a tagline. Change initiates an enduring odyssey.
yes,
Enduring odyssey. If you don't know what odyssey means, go and look up the term. It comes from Homer's book called The Odyssey.
the odyssey.
Yes, by Odysseus.
Yep.
His name was Odysseus, and his whole journey, because he had the temerity, the hubris to say, but why?
Yeah.
He questioned bullshit, and he survived. So it's a story of an odyssey, is to the triumph of persistence, diligence, strategy, thinking, trust, self-trust, keeping going even though you don't know. I put that as a quote in comments.
Yeah. Well, even including now, I mean, that relates a lot to the journey I've been on. We'll get to that in just a moment here, but
No.
so let me go ahead and start on this.
Please, please.
Okay. I summoned courage and shared my story. Having received an abundance of support and encouragement, I wrote and published my story. My voice resonates out in the world, sharing the truths I needed to express. However, a voice within me whispers that this isn't the conclusion. I have continued to speak and write, shifting my focus towards sharing and learning. Nonetheless, each piece I pen is creating a divide between my emotions and the memories I fearlessly uncovered. Beneath my attempts to make sense of my life lay genuine emotions, the ones I'm aware that I have avoided. The closure I anticipated after revealing my story publicly had not materialized as I had expected. However, though buried, I could label those emotions resentment. Did they ever comprehend the impact of their actions? Did a trace of remorse touch their hearts? Did anyone bring to their attention the exposure of my truth? I ached for my abusers to grasp and feel the resentment and shame I carried, emotions that rightfully belonged to them. Simultaneously, the prospect of unveiling their hidden transgressions evoked a peculiar mix of fear and satisfaction.
Say that again, please.
Simultaneously, the prospect of unveiling their hidden transgressions evoked a peculiar mix of fear and satisfaction.
Yeah.
Yet would their discomfort genuinely satisfy my thirst for justice or fulfill my longing to have been aware of alternative life choices? Probably not. Recovering from sexual abuse, particularly as a child, remains an ongoing battle. It molds a person in ways imperceptible to others. Survivors understand this, persisting in a lifelong journey to reconcile the unimaginable. However, the end of traumatic ordeal doesn't signify the conclusion of the journey. For me, it marks the inception of a continuous process, unlocking, unlearning, and becoming unbound.
Inception.
Following trauma, two paths emerge: divulge the secret or forever bury it. Regardless of the choice, survivors continue to combat their struggles. Some navigate the murky emotional waters of life after trauma, emerging resilient and pure like a lotus rising to the surface. However, others find themselves overburdened or succumbing to the despair of powerlessness, addiction, or evasion. And some, like me, oscillate between striving and surrendering, only to realize that the coping mechanisms we once chose no longer serve us. Even if we elect to speak up or confront our abusers, closure remains elusive. The experience perpetually lingers. We learn to acknowledge it, but can we attain closure without harboring resentment and victim mentality in its aftermath? I acknowledge my capacity for change. I find myself asking how much change lies within my control and how much is destined. Do I possess the strength, endurance, and vigor to forge a different narrative? Or must I embrace my current reality and make the most of it? Is closure ever within reach? When does the feeling of enough finally arrive? Over the years, I've contemplated countless what ifs. What if I hadn't endured abuse, fled from home, suffered beatings, or crossed paths with certain individuals? Would my life have diverged if I had grasped the concept of boundaries? Could a single change have liberated me from my current struggles? Where might I be? Who could I have become? And does the possibility of transformation endure? These questions remain integral to my journey of unbound living. Extract value from the lessons of your trauma. Well, viewing trauma as a gift doesn't resonate with me or with you, I imagine, but I can glean lessons from it. Reflecting on past experiences and discerning where boundaries were needed helps me understand both myself and others, while discernment guides me towards embracing certain circumstances. I frequently remind myself that I'm no longer the person I once was. I've evolved from the confused and emotionally numb girl who took decades to comprehend values and morals post-trauma. The instant I gained awareness, my life pivoted and growth became a constant companion. Old patterns still resurface, occasionally inviting comparisons with others. During such moments, I step back, assessing my journey up to this tearful instant. I ponder what further actions I can take. What else is possible? Well, I can recognize my bravery and acknowledge the distance I've covered. I can tap into my energy, embracing present discomfort for future growth, and I can be intentional with my thoughts, emotions, and convictions, directing my focus towards my mind, body, and spirit. When you contemplate your existence and purpose, change initiates an enduring odyssey. For I am brave, and I will persist in my conviction that there's always something I can do to ensure I am living deliberately unbound.
Wow.
So there it is.
Wow. 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 What an article. What an article. What an article.
They had, they were putting out a call, this magazine put out a call for real stories. And I answered it, and, you know, I mean, it just said, you know, tag your name here if you're interested. And so then you have to go through and you have to go through the submission process. So I did that, and it was accepted. And I was really just blown away, because this was just something that kind of came from my heart one night. And I was just sitting with it. I did. And that's what I've been doing. That's why I responded to Bina's post today, that I've just been sitting. That's where I've been. Just to give you a heads up here. This is where I've been gone. I have been deliberately, you know, I deliberately chose to pull back. Social media sometimes can really get in our way, and it can get in our eyes to the point where we're not seeing our journey, we're seeing everybody else's, but we're not seeing ours. And so every now and then I have to pull back and just really take a good, honest, hard look as to why I'm not getting answers, why I'm not hearing anything, why I'm not
Yeah.
feeling. And most times it's because we're just well, kind of like Comelius, where we get that tunnel vision. We get that bit of tunnel
Yes.
vision.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
see, I have been listening.
Oh, it's so brilliant, you know, really.
So I asked myself why I wasn't stepping over the threshold, why I
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
sitting and waiting, and what was I waiting
Yeah.
for? Nobody has the answers for me but me.
Exactly.
You know, the universe
Exactly.
has the answers for me, but if I'm not willing to listen, they're just going to quit sending them. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I wrote it
Yeah.
and I sent it in and they published it and I was excited, and I still am because there's more to come, of course. And so now I'm
Mm.
busy. I've also had to get CJ settled in to school.
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah.
So I got all that done and taken care of. And then, my thoughts turned to my finances. So I had to turn to my finances. So I started sewing again. Because while writing is wonderful and it's passionate and everything, it doesn't always put bread on the table. So you really got
Yes.
to pay attention
Yes.
to your income.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I decided if I was going to have to put income back in my pocket, et cetera, of course, like we all do, then I'm going to do something that I'm passionate about. And
Exactly.
I'm just as passionate about my sewing as I am the writing. Um,
Wow, brilliant.
both bring me
Yeah.
fulfillment in
Yeah.
ways that
Yeah.
I've not found anywhere else. So,
Fantastic.
it's
Fantastic.
where I am now.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Fantastic.
so do you have any questions on what I wrote or thoughts
A question.
or any thoughts?
Oh, I have plenty thoughts. I'm trying to reframe it as a question.
Okay.
See if I can do that. But see, if I ask it as a question, that's a better way to do it. That's a better way to do it. I'm just,
Okay.
you're hearing me think aloud now, right? My brain thinking about the thing. I don't want to say what I'm thinking about because that would give it away.
Okay.
So I was going to ask, why did it take so long to acknowledge resentment as a force? But then I said that has an implication that there's somehow this is bad or wrong or no. So I said, no, scrap that question. Not good. Yes.
Right.
But if I asked, why do you think it took so long for resentment to surface and be acknowledged? Now it's a different question. See,
Mm-hmm.
now it's not an implication of fault. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's a question of awareness and understanding. Yes.
Right. Right.
In
And
the slight
awareness.
reframing of it, two different questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Same point.
Um,
But yeah.
fear facing the awful truth.
Yes.
That it, and that's it in a
Yes.
nutshell right there. I have
Yes.
no other answer for that other than that
Yes.
right there. Just
Yes.
fear facing that truth.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
And the
and
awful
what's
truth
interesting,
being,
right? The awful truth being is that I was looking. How do I package that? Um, unless we're aware of why we're doing something, the what behind it, or the why, or the reason, if we're not aware of our true intent, um,
yeah,
what I found out anyways, what I was really seeking was never going to come. And what I was seeking was closure. I wrote the book
exactly.
hoping for closure, hoping that that was
Yeah.
going to be the end
Yeah.
all and that was
Yeah.
going to be the end of it because it was out
Yeah.
there and I told. But what I wasn't recognizing or acknowledging was that unconscious truth of I really wanted my abusers to know. I really wanted them to actually squirm and suffer, just like I did.
Right. You wanted retribution
There you go.
and
Yeah.
believed that
And because I
retribution would
didn't
give
get
you
it.
closure. And of course,
Yep.
it
And
never
because it
can.
wasn't happening, I was still resenting them.
Yeah.
But once I acknowledged that, it's like, yeah, okay, well, I wanted it. It didn't happen, but you know,
Yeah,
maybe the
yeah,
idea that it has now been removed from me
yeah.
is my closure.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. To realize that you were pursuing a square circle
Yeah,
choice. That's a big relief. Because
yeah,
if you did get that retribution, you're just adding more misery to the world. Not going to make you any happier.
yep, yep. And that's why I said, would it have made a difference?
Yeah.
You know, and
It would
it
have meant
probably
that
wouldn't have.
you did not evolve past where they were at.
Yeah,
That's exactly what they were doing,
yep,
transferring their pain, their suffering onto somebody else.
yeah. See, and that's the thing about letting go. That's the thing about facing your awful truths. You can actually let go with that. You don't even have to worry about forgive. Everybody focuses on forgiveness. Um,
Yeah.
and we struggle with it because
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
me, I do anyways. How can I forgive something that I know was
It's
just so
unforgivable.
egregiously
You can't.
wrong that was unforgivable,
It's bullshit. You can't
unimaginable?
forgive what's unforgivable.
No,
Can't do it.
but I can let it go. And when I let that go, those memories, those feelings, the memory is still there, but the
Yeah.
feelings, I let those pass.
Right. Now I have a
Once,
question for you.
okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to, on that point that now I can let go. Did you let go because you had come to understanding?
Yes,
There's how you get resolution and closure, not through forgiveness, but through understanding. Once we understand, there's nothing to forgive.
exactly.
It's as simple as
That's it
that.
right there. No, I
There's your
don't,
boat.
I'm never
There's your
going to
boat.
understand. Yeah, I'm never going to understand why they did what they did. Never. Yeah, that
Exactly.
was really close to that. Um, I will never understand their reasoning, their purpose. I don't want to.
Precisely. But you can understand that they did something wrong and foolish and idiotic and in a complete bubble of unawareness and awful truths that were unresolved and pressures
Mhm.
and limited awareness. Yes, you can
Yeah,
understand that. Yes,
yes,
there you
yeah.
go. Once we
No,
understand
but
that, everything changes.
yeah, it does. It really does. You know, carrying
Yeah.
around resentment, I will say, if you're not aware of it, it's heavy.
Oh yes. Oh
It
yes.
is extremely heavy.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And there's a side consequence that we don't understand. Most people don't, right? They think, they believe, they assume, they take for granted that their resentment is only affecting them and those that they resent.
Right. It
It's
doesn't.
its own private bubble. That's the belief. But
Mhm.
I got news for you.
It goes like
Anybody
this.
who is even just a fraction aware and even subconsciously, when they encounter somebody with resentment, it makes them less likable.
Mhm.
It's very simple. And it
Yeah.
affects all of your interactions in a subtle way.
Yeah.
Yes. And resentment, because it's an excess, and like most excess, excess breeds excess. So we tend to, when we put out resentment, we get it coming back at us in some way or another.
Yeah. Pretty much everything is like that. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
learning, you know, like no matter what we do, it's going to come back to us.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Because it's an energy that you're putting out. It's a force.
yeah.
And resentment is, what is resentment? But essentially a critique, right, of others.
Judgment.
Yes, you did what's wrong. But if you keep persisting in pushing that, they say that, yes, okay, I did what was wrong, but you're not letting it go. And how
Yeah.
can I possibly learn? You keep pressing, you keep pressing. It's like this weight on me. And of course, then they're going to resent you for doing the thing that they did to you. And you end up with this
That
chain reaction
happens.
that comes back.
Yeah. And that happens to tear a lot of couples
Exactly.
apart. You know, a
Exactly.
spouse make a mistake, and
Exactly.
then next thing you know, the other
Yeah.
spouses or partner, whatever, is starting to
Yeah.
resent, and they never talk
Yeah.
about it. They never let it go, and then it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
puts
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wedge
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
drives them
Yeah.
apart.
Right. But here's what I want to say. Yes, in couples, the one is resenting the other and then it feeds on itself. But
Mhm.
I'm making the point that resentment that's not associated with an individual We think it's okay. I resent my parents,
Oh yeah, no.
but that affects my spouse.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to end up getting resentment from my spouse because I am resentful and I'm exuding resentment. Yeah.
Hmm.
And there's no real reason for it. And now I resent them resenting me. And it's like now it's a screw up and it spirals down into negativity. Yes. So we have to be very acutely aware that resentment is a poison. That's also a contagion.
Yeah. It also,
It's
to
not
me,
just between you and the thing you're resenting. No, you're going to end up putting it on
right.
everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
I think for me too, though, it also, all of this, what, holy cow, okay, what started this was thinking about acceptance and self-acceptance, and awareness of whether or not I am completely accepting everything about me. Because, we have our conscious and our unconscious and our shadow
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, a lot of people claim that, they do the work for accepting even their shadow selves, but that was a part in my shadow, and it wasn't a whole lot,
Yeah.
not at all. It
Yeah.
been hit me inside of the head with it too. But that this whole piece was, how much have I let it go? Have I let it all go? That was very deep. But the interesting part was all kinds of negative things were
Yeah.
happening around me. And it was paying attention to those anomalies can be negative, paying attention to the negative anomalies that were coming at me. I was like, why is this happening?
Brilliant.
What's going on? Not happening to me, but what is all this? And I wrote about that a
Yeah.
little bit today. It's like,
Wow. Wow.
what do I need to know here? Because I'm missing something big. And what I needed to know was, well, I haven't let go of things. Well, how am I ever going to put myself out there? How am I ever going to step forward as a writer, as a coach,
Exactly.
as a business owner, as anything, as
Exactly.
a guide to CJ, if
Yeah.
I'm not willing to let go
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the biggest
Yeah.
thing in my life?
Exactly. Exactly. It's key. It's key. It's crucial. And when
Mhm.
we understand that, when we look at acceptance under or through the filter of understanding, everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just blanket accept. No, you need to understand. And then you can say, I understand that the world has ignorance in it, has foolishness in it, has a lack of awareness in it. And this is where badness and wrongness comes from, lack of awareness, ignorance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now
And we
that's
can feed
then I
into
can
it.
accept it. Then I can accept it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it was good in itself. No, it wasn't. But I can accept it because I now understand it.
Right.
Yes. It's very,
And
very
we can add
crucial.
to it. Our lack of acceptance, our lack of awareness can add to that
Yeah.
extra
Yeah.
negativity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we just won't be aware of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make anybody wrong or, bad
Oh,
for not being
yeah.
aware.
Just is. Do we
Yeah,
hate babies for not being aware?
no,
Everybody loves babies.
no, not at
A
all.
baby is a baby. Does a baby have any use? Can it do anything? No, it's totally useless. Can't do anything. It's completely ignorant. But yet we love babies
Mm-hmm.
because they're not constrained by that ignorance.
Yeah,
Eh? They don't
yeah.
buy into it. They don't hold back. They don't try and justify it. They don't say, I can't do anything because I don't know. As soon as they get a little older, as they start learning, right? And then they're like fantastic. They just keep persisting despite not knowing.
Yeah, yeah,
Just so simple when we think of it that way, right?
yeah.
There's
Well, it goes to the same
the
thing.
quote
We,
that I put in chat there. Sorry, sure. It's just, well, you may not see it. Well, I don't know, in the comments. But the quote is, keep going despite not knowing.
yeah, that's true.
And that's what you've done. Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same thing with, well, it's like Homer. Now,
Yeah.
I guess take that to keep going despite not knowing.
What a
Uh,
quote. I like it because of the rhyme. I
yeah.
got an important question for you
Okay.
from Norma. The
Okay. Hi,
wonderful
Norma.
Norma says, wonderful, beautiful Norma says, may we be able to see Sher's talk as written, or would it be against the Reels rules? Can you share a link to the article?
Oh, yeah, absolutely I can. I
There you go.
can,
Put it in chat, please. Put it in comments.
let me see. I will have to, okay, I'm gonna have to do that on my phone.
Either way, I mean, if you send me the link in Messenger, I can copy it and put it in comments. I want to add it to the top as well, to the title.
Okay.
So you'll get to read it. And
Yeah,
then
hold
Norma
on one
says,
second.
letting go is like a medical procedure. So hard to do, and then to realize you have it. It is gone.
She's right.
Exactly. That's it. You know, the realization, the awareness. Awareness is so often self-curative when we make that effort to be aware. Yes.
Yeah.
And whenever you got a problem, ask yourself, what am I not aware of? It's incredible. It's incredible. Incredible the answers that come. Yeah. Norma says, thank you, Sher. And yes, I concur, Norma. Thank you, Sher. That was powerful stuff. And I want to hear it again. I want to go, we're going to, as soon as we get the technical stuff out the way here, we're going to reread it and go through it line by line. If you don't mind.
No, I am. I'm trying to, okay, I'm trying to get to the group.
Right.
That's all.
Well, just send it to me in Messenger. Maybe that's easier, no?
Okay, maybe that'll be easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just do that.
I have
Share.
your chat open and I can just copy and paste. There's no problem.
Okay. Sometimes, you know, technology is wonderful, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a wonderful pain.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Yes,
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's almost there.
It is. Hang in there.
No problem. No problem. Happy to wait. You know, this is the point, though. When we really pay attention and we become aware of what all the awful truth is, it's very powerful. One way to do that, because sometimes, like in Comelius's case, we have conflicting motivations. He wants to understand, but he also wants to maintain his status and his status quo. Those two can't go together. Yes, you can't want to understand and have more awareness, but also want to keep things the same and in a bubble. He also wants to justify his indulgences. Now you are looking at the dishonesty, because it's an indulgence and you know you cannot justify it, but you make up this whole long cosmology, philosophy, psychology, everything in order to justify the unjustifiable. In other words, you have to rearrange your entire world in order to make that happen. And people do this, not realizing that they now live in an untrue world. It's only going to come back at you. Here it is. Here it is. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. So I'd copy link. And let's go back to chat. Oh, that's there. I see. Okay. And paste it in here. All right. So let me just make a comment there. Yes. The link to read, capital R, Read Sher's most excellent article. It's most excellent. All right. I just love that.
I was really pleased because they picked up two of them, this one and another one.
You got two articles published. Wow.
Yeah. And there's more to come in the.
Oh, you'll be a regular writer for them.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident.
Well, that was what was cool, is because when they put my name up there and then it was like writer for real, and I'm like, woohoo.
Oh, I like that. The writer for real.
Yeah.
See,
That's got a lot of.
Thank you, Real Magazine, because I've been telling this to Sher for forever.
Yeah, you're a writer for real.
Writer for real, exactly. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's too cool? Brilliant. That is most excellently cool. Yes. It'll be. So add that to your CV.
Yeah. Actually, I'll have to.
Yeah. Not Writer for Real Magazine. Writer for Real. People can figure it out themselves. Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
You agree?
Yeah.
To put it that way, you know, I mean, some might not get it. They won't know it's for Real Magazine, but oh, Sher's a writer for real. Ah, wow. Okay. It's kind of a cool thing to say about yourself. But then when they find out, oh, it's also meaning for
Yeah.
Real Magazine, then it becomes super cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the nuance and layeredness comes. Yeah.
It's, I do believe that one of the questions, besides what all the anomalies were that were happening, like what was going on there, and not, having recognized what I needed to, things come in time. It doesn't matter where you are on your journey, to me anyways. Number one, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We think we're in control. We think we're in total control. No, we have some control over the outcome, but we can't control what's coming at us. So the thought of kept rolling around in my head, what's my purpose? Where am I going to place value? What is it I need in the world? And then when I read again today, what that value and usefulness in Venus post, that really stuck. That really resonated. And that was the first time I'd seen those words before. And I'd read that phrase, I don't know how many times before, and heard it from you and heard it from Vina.
Oh, yeah.
But it never really stuck with me until this morning when I looked at that. And I was like, that's been my question all along is, where's my value? What's my purpose? And every now and then I feel like I have to stop and remind myself that it's not about doing for myself or doing for others. It's just simply about being. It's just about being.
Exactly. Now, I want to add a tweak to that question.
Okay.
Where's the actual value as opposed to the believed value? What's the difference?
Perfect.
Where's the actual value compared to the believed value? I was talking about leadership earlier. Yes. People, narcissists, egomaniacs, BMNs, want to be a leader, I want to be in charge. And then they get to be in charge. Now they have believed value and they feel wonderful. Oh, it's great. But the actual value is very little because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of pressure. Everybody's bothering you. They all got, their agendas, blah, blah, blah. It's a pain in the butt. But that's the actual values, not very much. But the believed value, of course, overrides it. Yes. And it's very powerful, right? But people will tend to ignore the actual negative value because that believed value is so powerful. Look at people getting drunk. Believed value versus actual value.
Yeah.
Believed or / perceived value. Where's the actual value in falling down drunk in the gutter and puking all over yourself?
None.
Then you go and brag about it. Man, I was drunk out of my skull. I was falling down. And you say it like this was a feat of accomplishment. You bragging about it.
Yeah.
Perceived value. See, believed value. And then you get asked, but did you like falling down drunk? Did you like puking? I said, no, it was terrible. Why did you do it? Because you've done it before. You knew it was going to happen. Because of believed value, right? This believed value can motivate us to do stupid things.
Yep.
The believed value of resentment is similar to that, right? But to abstract it, we believe, we perceive value where there isn't actual value. And the believed and perceived value can completely obliterate and overwhelm actual value. But once we learn that skill of saying, where's the actual value? Oh my God, the awareness, the clarity, the shift is incredible. And we stop being fools, because this is what defines a fool: those who pursue believed value over actual value.
Well, this is interesting that you even mentioned that about like the resentment, because we can believe that we're good, that we're being good people for being so resentful of somebody that made a mistake.
We should be resentful because that's what a good person does.
There you go. There you go.
We should hate badness because that's what a bad person does.
Yeah, we're supposed to hate the bad people.
We're supposed to, because that's what a BMN does. And they're the ones that determine our culture.
For
sadly.
hating and judging the bad. Wow.
Yeah. We have a culture that is perpetrated by the very worst of us. It's a real incredible thing.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
our shoulds, they come from total knuckleheads and just dreadful people, BMNs, manipulators, abusers, hierarchists, insecure narcissists, and they make the rules. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even include, this is interesting. Maybe it's a side. I hope it's not, but I watched a show last night on Netflix, Live to 100, and they're talking about the blue zones. And what this guy calls the blue zone are the areas, pockets of the world where people are living past the age of 100. He was talking about their lifestyles and how they did that, or how they're doing it. They're not doing anything drastic. They aren't taking any pills, nothing magical potions, no mystical anything. It's their lifestyle and it's their belief system. And their belief system is they've got like 4 different core areas combined. That's what everybody is doing. I'll have to go back and look at what those 4 areas are, but every single one of them resonated and go right back to what you were just talking about. They have cut off their beliefs of what everybody else thinks they should be doing.
There you go.
They hit 80 and 90. And
yes.
Okay, for example, there's this one guy, he lives in, I think it's a very poor region of Costa Rica. Anyway, he's over 100, he's 102. He's still riding horses. He's still cowboying. He's still rounding up the cattle.
Fantastic.
He gets up and down on the horse without any assistance whatsoever, as though he were like 50 or 60. And he actually looks like he's 60, but he's
fantastic. Fantastic.
And
I know somebody like this.
Well, yeah, and it's because they, in his village, and the others, they just have these little pockets of, we're not listening to society where they say we have to have X, Y, and Z to be happy. We have to have X, Y, and Z to live, to exist. We have to have utilities. We have to have this. No, we don't.
Actual value. Actual value. Yes.
They're living life for the value of life.
Right. And when we understand this actual value, this is the key ingredient for being real.
Yeah.
It's like, look at the actual value.
Wow.
The person that I know that is like this, very sprightly, and as when you see them, you think they, I don't know, half their age or whatever. It's Norma.
Yeah, okay. When you said that, I was going to say, oh, it's Norma.
You can't possibly guess that Norma is, Norma is sprightly and alive and just youthful. It's too brilliant. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really
cool. Yes, Norma. Yes. Yeah, Norma's most brilliant. Yeah, Norma's awesome. Norma's awesome. It's very cool. It's very cool. And when we look at stuff that we drag around with us and we start relating it to our physicality, it's quite profound. It's quite profound.
That's true. I'm still I'm still on my weight loss program, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. You've transformed yourself. You're incredible.
And it just seems like the more I'm letting go, the more weight I'm losing. Even though I've been in some pain, the pain is it's unavoidable. It's I lost all that weight, and then my bones are shifting. Everything is shifting. My spine shifted, and it wound up pinching some nerves. It's been really difficult to deal with. It's getting better, but I had a choice. I could have run to the doctor and said, oh, give me some pain pills, do this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, nope, I can deal with this. I can deal with it.
Wonderful.
So that's what I've been doing. And it does cloud judgment. Pain will mess with your judgment. It'll mess with your thoughts and stuff like that. But once you start getting busy, and there you go, back to value. Once I start seeing value in what I'm doing, I'm paying less attention to the things that are bothersome and don't really matter.
Right.
It's not forgetting it. It's not putting, and that's something I guess I have to make clear. I don't believe that survivors need to just forget about what happened to them.
No,
But I honestly do feel, and I've experienced this for myself, like you said, as long as we understand, we can start to let go. The
exactly,
more we understand, the easier it gets. But we don't have to
exactly,
understand what they did. We just have to understand our thoughts and feelings and beliefs on it.
exactly.
No one
In other
else's
words, we have
matters.
to understand how it makes a difference in our lives
Yeah, yeah.
and understand how we can extract
The
value
value
from it.
and the
Yeah,
usefulness. There
exactly.
you go. That's why I said I can glean the lessons from it,
Yeah,
and I've been doing that all along, but I don't think I've been taking away all of the lessons that I possibly could have.
yeah,
And that I'm
yeah,
still extracting, and I probably will until the day I leave this place.
exactly. If you do.
Oh, no, no, no. My physical form will eventually expire.
Yeah,
But I'm talking about spiritual. It'll, who
yeah,
knows?
yeah, yeah.
I just
Norma,
hope I don't come back at next time as something really gross that I hate, like
no, you won't.
cockroaches
No, you won't.
or
Unless you
bugs.
think of that consistently and you loop that thought and stuck there, and then when you need in that space of spiritual space and you busy materializing the new reality and you have this looping thought, well, that's what's going to materialize.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
That's why we need to cultivate unrelenting positivity and sobriety. Sobriety is positive.
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
have a sober view, you can't possibly materialize something like that, because
Well,
why
not
would
only
you?
that, but we're actually born negative people. I mean,
Yeah.
we are. Being positive is not natural to humans.
Well,
It's totally not natural to us. So we really do have to work at it.
why
We
is that
do.
magical?
Why is it magic? I don't know. I just know that being
Because of the name of your article, or is that not just this article called Living Deliberately? Is that your column or?
yeah, no, no, deliberately unbound is the name of the column, but living deliberately unbound was the name of the article.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Now
So
that's why it's magical. Why we start off negative? Because the universe is saying the one key essential that you need to learn, the thing that
be
will give you the
deliberate.
most value is learning to live deliberately.
Yeah.
Learning to
Being
be
deliberate takes
able to
effort.
live deliberately. Yes.
Yeah.
So we get sucked. We get sucked to start with and say, I don't want this. This sucks. I don't want this. Learn to live
Yep.
deliberately. You choose. You choose. You choose. You have to learn to be able to stand up to the suck.
Yeah. Boy, do we ever.
You have to say, no, suck, I'm not going to just accept you. However, if you look around, watch how people subscribe to suck because I should. I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Well,
If you're gonna,
if you're not
yeah,
going to learn this profound lesson, if you're going to be a slave of should, well,
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
universe is pressing you to say, suck or learn, suck or learn. That's it.
yeah.
Learn to live deliberately. Yeah. That's why Way of Impeccability. What's the subtitle? Toolbox for
For
deliberate living.
deliberate living. Yep.
So it's all about there are tools, thinking it through to the end, perspective shifting, two incredible tools to learn to say, oh, wait a second, this actually sucks. There's no actual value, only believed
Yeah.
value. What the hell with that? Should is all about believed value.
Yep.
You look at the actual value, like okay, what is most people's idea of having fun? You should get drunk.
Yeah. Get drunk, get high, go do
Like
something
whatever,
nasty.
you see my point. It's a should, it's a
Mhm.
believed value, not an actual value.
Yeah.
Now it may work for some, but to say it works for everybody, it's like, hello, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm making the point though about should, that
Yeah.
this is a should that's there, or there's all sorts of shoulds, but a should is a believed value, not necessarily an actual value. Once we
Right.
learn to separate those two, our whole lives change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that
See,
incredible?
and then another caution though too is to say, don't tell yourself that you should be positive, because that's
Exactly.
just putting a whole lot of pressure where it doesn't need to be.
Exactly. Do it because you get real value out of it.
Do
End of
it for the
story.
value. Do it for
That's it.
the usefulness. Do it for what you can,
Exactly.
take from it, what you can
Do it for the
glean.
sobriety involved.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sobriety has a very subtle background positivity. that
remember when I
doesn't
first,
have that taint to it.
when we first started working together and I first started having sessions with you way back when, I remember having a conversation with you. Well, why does everybody insist that I be positive?
Yes, yes. And
I
it
can
was
answer
a
that question.
distortion of the understanding of positivity,
Yeah,
precisely.
yeah.
Right.
But
Where it
I
was a
remember getting
confusion
angry.
between, false cheerfulness
Yeah,
and unrealistic optimism, which isn't
yeah,
positivity. Positivity is that which says it's worth me continuing.
yes,
So simple as
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember getting angry though, because it's like, Sherry, just lighten up, cheer up, let
Yeah,
out this, that, and the
yeah,
other thing.
yeah,
Can you
yeah,
ever be
yeah,
happy? And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I
Now,
doubt it.
now you bring up a really interesting point there, right? If we look at unintended consequences, that reaction to positivity is an unintended consequence of the lingering, ongoing resentment that was still in there. Yes?
Yep, yep.
You see, it finds an expression. So you start resenting this pressure on you to be positive. It's
Oh yeah.
inappropriate, but it's a way that the stuff finds expression.
Hmm.
That's something.
Wild how it works. It really is.
It's amazing. It
Too wild.
is amazing. It's amazing. This is where impeccability comes from. It's not about being perfect or being right. No, it's about
No.
best use of energy. Is resentment a good use of energy?
Oh heavens, no.
What value do we really get out of it other than a believed value that you should? Who taught you to do this? Some shithead who was doing this and knew it was a shitty thing to do. Now they have to justify it and they say, well, that's what you should do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how they justify being crappy when they come to realize, because their ego is so big. They can't possibly say, oh, well, yeah, that was stupid of me. No, now they're going to make it in. This is the most intelligent, wonderful thing. You must get revenge. You should resent, blah, blah. It's
yeah.
astonishing how our culture comes from the worst of us.
That's true. You
It's
would really
astonishing.
enjoy that show on Netflix. I'm just gonna.
It's called what? 100 plus?
No, it's called Live to 100.
Oh, live to 100.
Live to 100. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100. Yeah, I always say 100. No, it's live to 100.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm gonna if I'm gonna say it correctly.
There
Okay.
you go. There you go. I think Norma will probably live to 200,
Oh,
if not
probably.
more.
I
Yeah. It
know
just,
she'll probably outlive me.
just a magical creature, truly. Did you see the photo? She only had it for a brief time yesterday of her in
No.
the woods. Oh,
Oh no,
pity.
I saw the bench.
Yeah, but just before that, she posted a picture of her in the woods, and
Oh
it
no.
was her, and then the woods all around. But she took it down. So
Oh, okay. No, I didn't.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
Oh, it's just a
when I
beautiful,
hop on
wonderful
Facebook,
picture.
it's very brief. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful picture. You could see that sprightliness, that goodness, that joy, that purity, which I feel is essential to longevity.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a lot of what I was seeing on this show. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was present within all
yeah,
of them.
yeah, yeah. They don't
Hmm.
hold on to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, they didn't. As a matter of fact, one of the women from Okinawa said that was they asked her what her secret was, that she thought why she was living so long, and she said because she doesn't hold on to anger.
Yep.
That
You can't. You
it
can't.
serves me no good. She said
Exactly.
things happen in life and
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
deal with it and you move
Yeah.
forward.
And
You
what
know,
is resentment but holding on to anger?
yeah,
And
exactly.
what is anger but a unresolved fear?
Hmm.
Anger is, or at least a resentment of fear. We don't know
Yeah.
how to deal with the fear. It's unresolved, and therefore we resent the fear and we get
Hmm.
angry because that's a better way of dealing with it than resenting. Or we get
I like
angry
that.
at having the
I
fear.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Good.
ties together. Yeah.
Hmm.
Most anger is rooted in a fear of some kind.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is. That I agree with. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
A resentment is a peculiar fear. because it's the fear of what could be, but isn't realized in a roundabout way. Yes. I'm saying it could have been, I could have had a different life, which means I'm
Mhm.
afraid that my life now is a waste. It sucks. It's bad for no good reason.
That is a good root fear. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
that's
But you
very
see
valid right there.
the fear is of waste, of a
Mhm.
wasteful life, right?
Mhm.
A fear of unfairness, etc. This is all resentment.
Well,
But
it's,
at some point, you can say it is what it is.
yeah, but when you're putting it that way, it also reminds me that that's a lack of self-trust too. That,
Precisely.
that you're fearful that your life is
Precisely.
not
Precisely.
mattering, it's not a value. That's a lack of
Precisely.
self-trust.
And victimness
Yeah,
is
victim mindset.
absolutely characterized by lack of self-trust.
Hmm.
I don't trust
Absolutely.
myself to do anything. Everything is somebody else's fault. It's
Yeah.
never my fault.
Yep.
And of course, that's now when we look at it in this way, we understand victimness to be avoidance of responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have
But
no self-trust, you avoid responsibility. But it can come the other way too. The
mhm.
avoidance of responsibility leads to lack of self-trust, because when you avoid responsibility, you say somebody else is responsible. So
Yeah.
accepting responsibility is kind of like an awful truth. At some point, you got to do it. And if you don't, you're always going to be in this victim, lack of self-trust mindset.
Yeah. The thing is too, though, when it comes to that, I guess I just want to say on my behalf, having those thoughts, having those questions, um, it was good that I asked them. It was good that I put them out loud, that I
Yeah,
put them out there, and that, I just kind of sat with them.
yeah,
I didn't go
yeah,
searching for the answers. Um, I just
yeah.
recognized that I had them.
There you
If,
go. Because,
if we don't, if we pretend to ourselves that, oh no, I can't
yeah,
think that way. Well,
yeah,
you're gonna think that way
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're human.
yeah. As you made a point of shifting to awareness. I
Yes.
was going through this today, right? Module 1, session 3, about the greatest motivation in our lives. And that whole session is all about awareness,
Hmm.
being motivated by being aware. At some point during when I got to know you, you started to become truly motivated by being more aware. And then things started to shift. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Everything
In
that you want to get depends on awareness.
Oh, that's absolutely a fact. Yeah.
So we're motivated to get things, but we're not motivated to get the awareness which enables us to get it. It's like, hello, come on, seriously. I was telling Rashta, who was on doing the repeat vaccine takeaways on module 1 session 3. So when I was a kid, right, it was like a game, like a thing, a fun thing that was done. Your 3 wishes, right? What do you
Mhm.
get 3 wishes? What are the 3 wishes? This came up regularly, right? I mean, I heard it from my sisters, my elder sister's friends, then my brother's friends, then my younger sister's friends, right? It would come up regularly.
Mhm.
And I would always frustrate the kids with my answer. I said, I only need 1 wish.
Okay.
I said, you know what I wish for? Oh,
Oh,
no, what? I wish that all my wishes would come true. Oh, you know, fun. Oh, that's you can't. They didn't really say you can't wish that because, well, of course I can wish it, but it would
yeah.
frustrate them and irritate and annoy them. Not once ever did a kid ever say to me, but that's brilliant. I just need 1 wish. That's awesome. No, it would irritate them because of the should. But yeah, but you're not playing the game. You're not doing what you should do. And you know what? Not a single child ever repeated this when they were in turn asked. It
I
blew
always
my
used to
mind.
say,
It still does.
I wish for eternal wishes.
That's the same thing. Exactly. I wish all my wishes come true.
Yep.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like, duh, man. But the point I'm making is they were so stuck in should that they
Yeah.
couldn't actually hear what I was saying. And they threw it away despite the value in it to them. And I'll bet you anything, if they actually had gotten that genie to come and give them the 3 wishes, they would have wished for the nice house and the good job and the nice family or whatever they are. They would not have used that opportunity to take, I just need the 1 wish. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish for eternal wishes. I wish all my wishes come true. It's like, hello, duh, man, you know.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
you've got unlimited wishes. It's like, come on, seriously, how do you not wish for this? But you know, it's so fascinating how stuck they were in should, and you breaking the should was a crime. It
Yeah.
upset them that
It
you
still
broke the
does.
should and you didn't conform to the expected thing that they wanted.
It still does, though. Even
Yeah,
as
yeah,
adults, we're still
yeah.
breaking those
And look
rules.
at that game though. That game is a way to say what is important to you so that I can know you and that I have some measure of being able to manipulate or leverage you.
Oh, okay. I never really looked at it that way. That is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a power. When you tell
Uh-huh.
somebody what you really wish for, you're giving them a power because you know they know now what's important to you.
Yeah.
In the superior paradigm, in
Never
the
thought about that.
hierarchy, this is very valuable information.
I never thought about that.
Isn't that amazing? And
It
that's
is.
the power of shoulds. They're saying, you know, what are your shoulds for you that you think you should have, you should get, you should want, etc. Power should is an incredible leverage tool. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
It
ridiculous.
is.
Yeah, yeah. But it's amazing too how they were so immersed in it and they didn't even realize that when I broke the should, it bothered them and upset them. And I would do it knowing that it was going to tease them and bother them. And you know, it's sometimes what really fascinates me that they would say, yeah, but you said that last time. Listen to what you just said. Unbelievable. That you didn't, and that you coming and asking me the same question again, like,
Yeah.
it just blew the mind how bubbleness can make people so stupid and blind to their own stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when I asked him about perfection. What do you think about perfection? Oh, perfection would be boring. Uh, um, um, but wouldn't that mean it's not perfect if it's boring? Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then you see the look come on their face. Oh, I just said something ridiculously stupid. Yeah. And then they deny it and then they seek to justify it. It's fascinating. I mean, I did this many times and I saw that same process go out. And of course, then the resentment comes because I now did something that I'm responsible for them being stupid because I asked the question. I had to run away sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating, right? The process. Nobody said, "Oh, yeah, you're right." You know, that's kind of dumb thing to say. You know, I never really thought of it. I just was because, of course, what they were doing, they were parroting and aping what they'd heard somebody else say. It wasn't their own opinion, what they thought
Right.
they should say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you know the pursuit of perfection is such a big task, such a difficult task, and of
Mm.
course those BMN say, "No, man, this is totally ridiculous, and that's too much work, too much effort. No, it has to be. We have to find some reason not to pursue it. Ah, it'll be boring. Ah, idiotic logic. Anyway, it's too fascinating. Too fascinating. If we take perfection to be a state of being from which, if we had the power to change anything at all, we would not, then we have an attainable perfection. If I say I can change anything in the world, but I choose not to change anything, well, then surely my situation must be quite perfect for
Yeah.
me.
It's acceptable like it is.
Right. In other words, perfection is conditional and contextual.
It
And they
is.
say, well, and they assume that perfection would have no change in it. Says who? I
Yeah.
like change. So my perfection would include variability and surprise.
Yeah.
You know, when we come down to it and we start doing all those pluses and minuses of all of these things, all these intents, and how one cancels out the other, I'll bet you
Mhm.
anything that the reality we in is all of those intents averaged out. This is our perfection.
That's an interesting thought.
We want challenge. We
Oh
want
yeah.
surprise. We want to be pressed out of our indolence.
Yeah.
When I'm really sober, I say, well, look, you know, if I didn't have kind of crap in my life, I would just be indolent and I would just stay in my bubble of indolence and ignorance and foolishness and stupidity. I'm too bloody lazy to make an effort, so I need this. In other words, my perfection
Yeah. We
is
need
where
to
I'm
be
going to
pushed.
be pressed to get
Yeah.
out of my crap.
Yep, we do. We need that.
Right.
We need that
Now,
push.
and I want to go one step further. Once we accept this idea, this understanding, this awareness that we are in our own creation of what is perfect for us, we now have a most incredible tool of self-awareness. Say, why do I need crap as part of my perfection? Because I
Yeah.
need to learn.
Hmm. Okay, I can get with that.
And then we start to see the perfection. We
Yeah.
start to see how everything is actually there for our benefit. It's there for our enhancement and development of our awareness. It is there for our learning and growth. We really
Even
do
cockroaches.
live in our perfect worlds.
Yep, even
Incredible.
cockroaches. They make me aware of my movements.
Exactly.
I couldn't ever find a reason for a cockroach. So in my world, they make me
Exactly.
very aware of where my feet are going, what's around
Yes.
me. Every second
Yes.
of the day, I'm aware
Yes.
of
In other words, the
all of
cockroach is a fantastic motivational mechanism for expanding your awareness to
Yeah.
include all around you. I was talking about this before you came on.
Yep.
Right. That awareness is brain light.
Awareness is brain-like. Okay.
Light.
Oh, brain
Light.
light. Yeah,
Brain light. That's it.
I can
That's
see
it.
that.
Right. And most of our awareness is this pinprick little spotlight. Right. Little tiny pinprick of
Yeah.
light. That's it. That's all we see. Yeah. And we've
Yeah.
got darkness all around us. But then we turn to put on we are aware of the world around us. We got the floodlight, but then we lose attention on detail. We don't
Mhm.
think that because we're stuck in this either or mindset, it's either spotlight or awareness. Nonsense, right? When I put the light on in the living room, that's a floodlight, lights up the whole living room,
Yeah.
correct? But then I need to go and do my sewing, and I need a bit more light. I turn on the lamp, and I have a spotlight as well as the main light. I
Yeah.
don't turn off the main light when I turn on the lamp to give me a bit of extra light, correct?
Right.
So we can have the spotlight of attention coexisting with the floodlight of general awareness.
That's pretty cool.
Attention is focused, spotlighted awareness.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. But we want to develop this ability to keep them both on at the same time, not either or.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Yeah. Very nice analogy. So the cockroach helps you from having that spotlight awareness, not only on your thoughts and feelings and emotions and forgetting your environment, but also to not do that with a cockroach now, to see bigger picture,
Yeah.
right? And the moment you do that, you start to realize, yes.
Yeah.
And look at the great lesson of a cockroach.
You survive forever.
Precisely. Cockroaches are the ultimate survivors.
They are. They are. They'll be here
We
even
can
after.
learn. We can learn from cockroaches. If I don't learn how to use the crap in my life and turn it into fertilizer,
Yep.
I end up living in a shit pile.
Yep.
Yes. Now, when we look at gardening and growth and nature, this is what nature does with anything. It's crap for a while until it gets turned into fertilizer. If you don't develop that skill, sorry, you're going to struggle. You're going to be incomplete. You've learned this with your all the crap you had as a child. Your article was about turning it into fertilizer, about being a cockroach, turning it
Yeah.
into food.
I like that.
See,
I like
it's very
that.
powerful. A cockroach is a wonderful lesson to say we need to take our supposed values and reassess them and say
As
the
much as I
cockroach sees
despise them
everything as
too.
valuable. What we discard, all our crap, that's our waste, the cockroach takes as value. What a
Yeah.
genius. What a genius.
Yeah, they're the ultimate. I mean, as far as like
Yeah.
survivalists. Yeah.
Right. Because they've shifted their perception to say, hey, this stuff is valuable.
Yeah.
We need to do that with the universe. We
Yeah.
need to do
With
that
all
with
the
the
stuff that's in
universe.
our life. Absolutely, we do.
Everything has value. Everything is perfect for the purpose of the enhancement and development of awareness.
See, that makes a whole lot more sense now than it did ever before.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I always like to point out is that our we may think we're aware, but we're never as aware as we're going to be.
Precisely.
It's just, that's it right there at the
It's
bottom line.
genius.
It's like, yeah,
Yes.
we're good, but there's always
Yeah.
more.
So it's more. Exactly.
Always more.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why the Moreness philosophy is so profound. And that one statement of self, I am enough.
Enough.
And I
Also,
am also more.
yes.
To get out of either or, to say it all coexists. I am enough. I'm content. I'm relaxed. But I'm also more. In other words, I don't get stuck in my enoughness.
Yep. So you can always keep growing.
Exactly. And we want
Yep.
to. We want
Yeah.
to.
Well, see, and then, like I was going to say this earlier, is that there's people get stuck in that mindset of, well, they have to keep going in one direction. They get the idea of growth and growth. We normally just think it goes this way or this way, but we go in every different direction. We just do
Correct.
360, and there's going to be some hiccups along the way. And there's going to be not mistakes, but there's going to be choices that we made where we could have made a different choice for a different outcome.
Yeah.
It's all part of it, and if you're deliberate, if you're deliberate enough, you're going to make enough of those missteps. They're going to be there.
Yes.
If you're not deliberate, you're stuck.
And why is deliberate? Exactly. Why else is deliberate so important? Because deliberate choice equals awareness. It's the same thing. A deliberate, clear, intended, deliberate choice is the very process of becoming more aware.
Oh, yes. Okay. You helped me there when you said it's the very process of becoming more aware.
Yeah.
That makes more sense
to
me.
Right. That's how we become aware, by making deliberate choices. So in the end, when you get into the habit of living deliberately, which means deliberately choosing, every choice is deliberate. You are now in the process of awareness growth, awareness enhancement, awareness development. And choice thus becomes, capital C choice, which is deliberate choice, becomes awareness. It's the same thing, right? Okay. That's how we get there. That's how we get there. We always ask, how does awareness come about? Right? And like in AI, they're looking to getting a program to become aware, right? So artificial intelligence really is about making something become deliberately aware. And that deliberate awareness comes from deliberate choice. That's the thing. You want to make your program aware, get it to make a deliberate choice, a conscious, freely chosen choice. I mean, a choice by definition is a freely chosen choice. What choice does the AI have?
I hope none.
Precisely. That's why we don't have AI. We have sophisticated programs which mimic this, but they're not real AI. So far, they haven't yet succeeded. Why? Because none of those AIs are free to make bad choices.
Yeah,
but every human being is.
Yeah,
Every
on AI, some of the applications that people have been, putting them to, they're gonna it's not headed in a very healthy direction right now, unfortunately.
But it hopefully will lead to a direction of people thinking about what is actual intelligence, what is actual awareness, right?
I hope so.
And that will lead to more conscious deliberateness.
Yeah, I hope they do.
Yeah,
I hope they do, because right now some of the stuff that I've been seeing is just.
And here's the thing, that for me, that when you look at it, how is everything perfect? It's always perfect. Say people look at AI and say, how are you not an AI? How you, person who's out there, how are you not an AI? Where's your real awareness? You're living by should all the time. Yeah, you're learning by should and habit and perceived value and believed value. What in you is actually real? It's all a program.
Yeah.
Where are you truly choosing deliberately for yourself with conscious, clear, full awareness? No, you're not. You're just aping and parroting. You're just as much a program as that AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, you're intelligent and we think you that. I mean, you've got us fooled like ChatGPT sometimes fools us. What's the difference? You're just a
Yeah.
sophisticated ChatGPT. You're still a program. You're not real. Sorry. You're as much AI as ChatGPT. Yeah. Yeah. See, there's value in everything. It's incredible.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
There is.
AI is incredibly valuable because it's raising this question that really needs to be asked. What is awareness? How does it come about? How does it work? You know, it's really fascinating. This subject, awareness, consciousness, has been or was, maybe now it's starting to change, but it was a taboo subject, taboo in academia. If you came and you were a professor and you said, hey, I want to study consciousness, whoop, you were out.
Yes, I remember that.
Incredible.
I
Why
remember
would the
that.
one thing that's the most important? Why? Because they deemed
Because
it
they want
to
you to think
be,
for yourself.
and they deemed it to be an unanswerable, invalid, dead end topic.
Yeah.
Seriously, because you don't have the imagination, because you're an AI and you can't imagine anything else not being an AI, you now
Right.
want to nix real awareness, because that would mean that your AI-ness is going to be exposed.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible?
Mm.
The world does not work the way we think it does.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. There's ever a
Absolutely.
mantra. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point to end it on. Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've got an appointment here at 2 o'clock. I have to get
Brilliant.
eaten to or ready
Yeah, no
for. So,
problem. No problem. I love
but
it. I love it. Thank you,
I was,
Norma.
I
Thank you,
was happy
Norma,
to
for
jump
being
back on
here.
today. And
Oh,
um,
it was a thrill
thanks
to
to
have you
anybody
here.
who was watching.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's very cool. You know, and I put that at the top there, and I'll share it to the website and to YouTube and everywhere.
okay.
So it'll
Did the
have your
picture
link there to the article, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did the
Yeah.
picture show up that I was trying to describe about the sailboat in the ocean? Did it show up this
You mean
morning?
in the link? Yes, yes,
Oh, cool. Okay,
yes.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I'll
that's what
show you.
I
I'll show you.
say. I probably didn't describe it very well, but
You see?
oh, it'll show up in just a second. What really captured me on that photo? Let me see if it's going to show up here. Nope, I don't see it yet.
Oh, right here on the in chat on the right hand side.
Oh, okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
And if I click on it, there you go.
Yeah. There it is.
That's not unsimilar to the one. I mean, just different
Right.
colors, but
Yep.
yeah,
That's what
it's
I was saying.
the same general. All right, mine is a bit more
Yep.
calmer waters, which I'm pleased about. And from a sailing point of view, as a former sailing prodigy, and say, dude, your sails are luffing here, and you're not getting good airflow, and you got wind coming in behind your sails. No,
Yes.
terrible, 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 right?
Yeah.
So this is poor sailing technique here. You see, this part of the sail is actually getting power. This is negating the power of that, and the same in the front here. See, you got wind from behind. It's a very good analogy. This is what we do to ourselves
Yes.
with things like resentment.
Yeah, I just liked it. To
Yeah,
me anyways, it almost was if it was struggling
yeah,
in the water, struggling
yeah,
on the
yeah,
journey,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
idea was once you
yeah.
get to that point, you can just let everything unfurl and
There
relax.
you go. There you go.
Pick with the Odyssey.
Yeah.
So
And all this needs is for them to just change direction ever so slightly.
yeah,
2-3
yep,
degrees. They
perspective
just have
shift.
to bear down, just attune to the wind just that little bit more. Right?
Yeah,
Just
it's just
realize that the way you thought you might want to go, right? Those shoulds, in
mhm,
other words,
yep,
they self-defeating, right? It's like this: the wind blows against you and with you. You're going and it doesn't work, right? So you stay in the same place
right.
essentially. You might move a little bit, but all you do just change your direction, just that little bit, few degrees. Now suddenly you're flying. Yeah. I like the fact that there's snow on the mountains in the back here too, and they're not particularly high mountains either.
No,
Or it looks like it, maybe sand.
no.
Yeah.
But just enough in the distance, that's all.
Yeah.
You know?
And I also like that the photographer's viewpoint is
Yeah.
water level.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
That's very cool to say, man, what a perspective. Yeah, you
Mhm.
doing something which, from my perspective as an underwater creature, is totally and utterly impossible.
Yep. But
I
I,
never even conceived of something like wind.
yeah,
Right? Now, if it's a calm day, this sea creature, whatever that's looking up here, then what the hell are you doing? It makes no sense whatsoever. Because they cannot conceive or imagine of wind because they've never experienced it, right?
yeah,
And why should you imagine wind if it's a calm day, right?
yeah, exactly.
No.
If you
However,
don't know,
if they were paying attention to implication, where did the waves come from?
yeah, what's making it like that?
Right. Well, it may not be blowing here, but the waves would have come from elsewhere, and
Yeah,
something had to make it then. All right.
yeah.
So I'm just saying, there's a lot to things when you pay attention. But yeah, very cool picture. And there's 3 people on this boat that I can see. Yes.
I think so. I saw
Yeah.
one.
It's a man, a woman sitting with her hands on her
Oh,
knees,
okay.
and a child.
Okay, you got really good eyesight.
Well, I've just expanded the photo, and
Oh, okay.
I mean, so I'm looking at it fairly close here. Let me see if I can make it even bigger. Hold on. Can you see it better now?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, yeah. It didn't want to stay full. Come on.
Okay. I was gonna say I can
There
see.
you go. There you go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, that may not be her legs and knees, maybe something in the boat, but it looks like it.
Who
From her
knows?
posture with her head, she's looking at the person. Her weight would be, she would fall backwards if she didn't have her hands around her knees.
Yeah,
Yes?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we can do a bit of extrapolation implication, yeah. Well, it's 3
Hmm.
that we know of. There may still be more below decks, but
Yeah. It looks like they're sailing in a jetty. It's kind of interesting. Huh. Okay.
yeah. Where do you see the jetty?
Well, I'm just, if you look at the line of rocks back here,
On the left or the right?
I don't know, just, it just looks like, a long
Yeah.
barrier of rocks.
Ah, yeah.
So maybe that's dunes
Interesting.
behind them. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Anyway,
fascinating. It's a very cool picture. It's got a good mood to it. A good mood to it.
all
Yeah.
right.
And
I
you got
got,
the seagull watching them as well. Yeah.
yep. All right. I
Yeah.
got somebody
Brilliant.
showing up here in 10 minutes. I
All
gotta
right,
get ready
brilliant.
for it.
Yes, we're gonna go now. That was too
All right.
magical. A very cool show. Very cool.
Good to talk with you.
I love that you are a twice real
Yeah.
writer.
And
I'm
yes,
doubly real. I'm not just regularly real. I'm doubly real.
yeah. I'm still writing on book 2. I'm a lot further than I
Yes.
was. So that's still a
Yes.
work in progress.
Yes.
I have a
And I
target
hope
date.
this publishing removes any breaks of doubt that may be lingering about.
It did. It did. It really
Little
helped a lot.
things sometimes are very important.
Yeah.
Our inner bureaucrats think, but, well, there you go, inner bureaucrats. Yeah, I'm going to publish the real, okay,
Yeah.
cool, okay, go. All right.
Yeah.
It's just how
Yeah.
they are. It's their job, They can't help being bureaucrats. Wonderful
Okay.
show.
All
Wonderful,
right.
wonderful, wonderful,
Take
wonderful,
care.
wonderful.
And I will talk to
You
you real
too.
soon.
You too. You too. Bye-bye. And bye-bye, Norma. And thank you for being here, Norma. Your presence is always a joy.
All
Yeah,
right. Laters,
always.
guys.
Yeah, bye-bye, Sher. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Norma Magic. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. All right. End meeting for all.